This is why I get hired, I occasionally get it right. They're like, you know what? All right, I mean, I think that you have to take it because you're up against the Mirana Arrow. You want to go for this fast push lineup. It feels like the Omnite keeps the guys alive. He peaks early, but he peaks very strong. And of course, he's also really good against the Dark Willow. Like, you can both walk into a Bramble and he removes it off both. So I'm as surprised as anyone that Reaper picked it, to be honest with you. But anyway, what did they go with? They go with the Leshrac. It is a fast push lineup. It's right? This is feeling like very fast push to me.
Yeah, it definitely does feel like it. That is the aim of the game. Try and close out as quickly as possible. I guess before the carrier on the side of Myth Avenue can actually, get beefy enough to contest them. But generally with fast push lineups where you want to have this early strategy, it does require a fair amount of team coordination and synergy. And I'm not sure if we really got a big sight of that in that first game. So I don't know. We'll see how it works out. On pen and paper, it's a good sort of angle to go for, but execution is key.
And one thing about the push strategy, I gotta say, is that Rubik does not fit at all with the group, right? Like, he has, unless you steal tree grab and you beat down a tree yourself, the towers with the tree, like, it's not a Shadow Shaman, nor is it a fantastic fighter. With Avenue, they do take Zeal's Brewmaster just so they can sort of slow down the pace of the game. Okay, I mean, I'm okay with that pick. I don't think there's anything like makes me go, oh wow, it counters, or oh wow, it's bad. It's just like, oh okay, Brewmaster's good team fight. And oh, by the way, remember, it's AoE Dispel with the Cyclone, with the Storm Panda. So all the Heavenly Grace is gone, all the Guardian Angel is gone, which is why they picked the Brewmaster. It makes a lot more sense when you think about it that way.
Yeah, that is definitely a key thing to note there. That could be a massive part of the team fight coming out there from Myth Avenue. And yeah, maybe Reapers right now are kicking themselves for not banning the Brewmaster. Maybe a little bit of an oversight on the fact that he can bring that to the table. Who knows? But yeah, we shall see.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you might have to think of that sort of counter, because I mean, Omniknight, there's only so many offensive dispels in the game, and it feels like that would be more valuable for you because you don't care about Ricky, right? Like, let Ricky go through the draft, ban the Brewmaster, because if Ricky gets through the draft, he is useless for the first 15 minutes, and if he throws a sleeping dart on someone, so what? You already have an Omniknight to help your team out. Like, I'm not sure I feel this Ricky ban so much.
Yeah. Maybe there was just the fear of the Mirana-Ricky combo making an appearance 3 games in a row. They just, paid it that much attention, I guess. But like you're saying, it could have been a different ban for sure. So Reapers, just looking for their offlaner now. Myth Avenue trying to find their carry pickup for Miracle. What is like the main carry that comes to mind when you think about a matchup versus a Drow Ranger?
Slark usually is the one that comes to my head, honestly. But Ursa Monkey King are also pretty good for cutting the distance. I'm not sure I like the Slark this much, right? Jumping on a Drow, there's going to be a Leshrac. Nominate will be keeping her alive, so it doesn't feel as good as I would usually like the Slark. And you might go for something else, say, let's just take a Sniper and have him like defend towers, or let's take a Zeus mid and put the tiny carry, something like that. They might opt not to counter the hero, but counter the strategy in general. And all right, they need an aura builder for Reapers. I'm feeling like an Underlord could be good. Who they go with? They go with the Doom. Okay. Yeah. Hope it's not a Midas Doom.
Yeah, that would completely negate the whole purpose of like the fast sort of pushing strat style, wouldn't it? Just slow down your team massively. We're going for that Midas pickup. We'll see how it pans out. At least this time, the Doom isn't facing the Rubik, so he can't get his armor stolen away. Pretty much every other time we've seen the Doom, it's always been on the opposite side. But yeah, we'll see how this works out. Obviously, Myth Avenue now have the final pick, 20 seconds to work with, but they're not going to need it all as they go for the Naga Siren. Does that really address a pushing strat?
I don't think it does, but I don't think it needs to. I think that the Miracle's Nagasan is like it's his best hero, so he just goes for it. And kudos to him. Like there's, oh man, I mean, I like I like what the rating has going for them. You know, I think that looks pretty good. The push strat. I don't know how the Rubik fits with it. I don't like it. I think the Doom, if he goes Aura, that's good. If he goes Hand of Midas or BKB Blink, that's gonna ruin it for them. But it really has to be very coordinated. Reaper says they have to be like coordinated. Myth Avi just have to play Dota. You know, you just have to play like standard Dota. Nothing crazy. They do have the mid tiny. They do have the carry Nagasai. They can go late. I'm gonna go with MHG. I just feel like they've done well. Reapers is 0-11. I don't think they're gonna make it 1-11 after this.
Yeah, I mean it'd be a nice way for them to end the tournament, but I'm sure as hell Myth Avenue do not want to let that happen. Like you were saying before, they've got to take this game just for the chance they could, move themselves on towards the playoffs. So yeah, it's a very, very costly game. But like you were saying, looking at draft against draft, I am favoring Reapers one. But it all comes down to if they can actually execute it. That is the main point. And yeah, after all the other series, after that game we just watched, I don't know if they have it in them to do that.
Did you see that win rate on Miracle's Naga Siren? 450 wins, 225 losses. Like, come on. I'm all in on Myth Avenue. Like, I look at the draft from Reapers. I think they have to execute it perfectly. I don't doubt that they can, but it's still a tough one. And there are a few things, though. They have a Grandmaster Drow. They have a Grandmaster Leshrac. That's looking pretty good. You know, that's you want to have those on your side. That's true.
Maybe that was the point. Maybe it was about putting them on their more comfort heroes. Heroes that they play quite a lot, and they're going to feel very like they just know the ins and out of the hero to really move into the last game.
Yeah.
We could see it work. Going to be a little bit of a fight for the room, but Excellent does get the successful deny at the very least. But still, there's going to be him playing this mid lane without any decent vision, which could help Fearless gain a little head start.
I feel like a big part of this game is going to rely on Mazros making sure he gets the Doom on the Brewmaster, because the Brewmaster, if he splits, he gets that Storm Panda out. Maybe he goes for Nagams just to always confirm it. And they were able to get the D-Ward off for the dire side. Yeah, if he gets that Storm Panda off, almost all of Omnight's value is gone. It's just, that's the truth of the matter. The hero loses Guardian Angel and Heavenly Grace. It's Ice Frog's sick joke to make both of these spells dispellable.
Yeah, that'd be a rough little double whammy going on there. But in terms of the bounties, it is a 3-for-1 in the favor of Myth Avenue, so a very slight advantage there. And
ooh. Check it out. We're starting off with the Hammer of Purity. I love this spell on the Omni Knight.
Yeah.
I think it's absolutely fantastic. I'm glad he took 1 point in it. You put that up with the Drow Ranger slow. I didn't like the Ice Frog increase its cooldown. I didn't think it was so strong that it needed a cooldown nerf.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was fine the way it was, but I think 9 out of 10 games whenever I play the Omni, I always start with this spell as well. It just allows you to trade so easily, and as you were just mentioning, in conjunction with the slow of the Drow Ranger as well, it would really allow you both to just do a tremendous amount of damage, and it could be pretty damn menacing.
The courier!
Yeah, a little bit of a miss micro there from Mikasa, but regardless, it does good damage over onto Kishka. And yeah, it's just the power of the hammer. Just keep running after him. I mean, it's pure damage as well, which is really ridiculous.
Yes, it is. And have you ever leveled up to level 2 early? Like, the amount of damage you do with level 2 of this spell is, oh my god! Oh, very close.
And he gets a courier with the ward still in it as well. Oh, right, okay. Mikasa's, I think he's feeling quite happy. At least when his courier died, he got his items. He's doing a good amount of economical damage.
And all these creeps aren't going to Zeal, who is going to walk to Mikasa again. Mikasa throws the hammer. It's something like, 88 damage. Level 1 is pretty substantial. Goes and punches him in the face. And he needs to be careful, though. He's only level 1 Omni without Heavenly Grace, so he still can get killed. But overall, Mikasa is doing a really good job in the bottom lane.
Yeah, definitely feeling it going into this game. And if Avenue are like, Jesus, all right, okay, maybe we should have paid a bit more heat to this Omni Knight. It's doing a lot of work. Oh, nice little hit there from the Shadow Realms. It just cancelled out Mikasa's salve from afar, so did end up wasting that.
He needs to be careful. He needs to start getting some levels though. He can't be too sacrificial. You really need the Omni to hit level 7 with the max Heavenly Grace, and then level 10 to get the extra duration. So it is like he's very valuable in this game, but he needs the levels. Mid lane seems to be going for Fearless in Fearless's favor. That's what the Grandmaster Leshrac gives you.
Yeah, that is very true. Able to really bring that to the table, and actually doing a pretty good job at dealing with Exilern right now. So both on the level 3. The Tiny just going for the 1-1-1 split. Fearless doing the same build that we saw Exilern actually do in the first game, going for the 2 points into the split earth.
Top lane, Mazros, he's having an okay time. You know, I wouldn't say controlling the Miracle at all, but at least he's farming. He does have the Hand of Midas queued up, which, I mean, when we say a fast push, it doesn't have to be like, 10 minutes for knocking tier 2, but that's 2,000 gold that will take some time to pay for itself, and, you're not going to have a mech with the same, with that gold on you, so, I don't know, interesting bit of gamble for Mazros if he goes for the Hand of Midas.
Yeah. Yeah, it could definitely be true. Maybe with the Drow and Lesh pickup, maybe they didn't actually have a pushing strat in mind. Maybe it literally was because they are their most played heroes, and like they didn't even think about it. And then the Doom's just going for like a standard sort of Doom game, just gonna be focused on his own thing, and just see where the game takes him.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense, but since you're Archon, I can never really agree with you fully. You know what I mean? It's like, I mean, he has a good point, but he's an Archon. These guys are like, they're naturally wrong. But yeah, I mean, you're right. It could have been just that, like, by coincidence, you have two heroes in Omni Knight that are, like a good combination together for pushing, but the rest of the team isn't really built for that. And that is what their offlane duo is. It's like Doom and Rubik is not a pushing line. Doesn't help in that situation.
No, it's not like any clear-cut synergy between these two heroes. Just trying to harass Miracle as much as possible. But already the Nugs are at top of the CS, 25 and 1 for themselves, feeling quite nice. Ooh, missed that down bottom. First one getting picked up there for Toya, taking out Zeal. Already this second game is going off to a better start than the first one was.
Oh, by far. And Zeal's just having no fun this game. He's suffering quite a lot. Kishka can't. And because he's suffering, Kishka can't leave him like he did in the previous game, which means that mid lane and top lane aren't getting the same support as they did. And it's crazy how Dota is, right? Like one lane goes in a certain way, and suddenly all other lanes are affected. Mikasa, he's trying to go for Kishka here and get it off. Doesn't use the Heavenly Grace while he's brambled, ironically, which is weird. He would have had the benefit out of that.
Yeah, get the bonus HP and regen still. One more right click, but unfortunately for him. Well, fortunately for Kishka, he has the boots up, but Mikasa didn't have any. And Zeal coming in for the cut. Just about able to get the clip there on towards the Cinder Brew, and there should be a dead Omni Knight.
His insolence finally gets punished, but overall I think you're kind of happy with that because Toy is getting free farm, and Zeal, he gets a kill. Actually, I think the kill count puts him fairly even in that situation. Oh, Toy! Oh, no!
Diving straight onto the tier 1 for him. I'm going to try and bully out this Drown. It's a lot of damage with the dot raining in. He's just dead. Wow, that was very surprising. Nicely done there, coming out from Myth Avenue. Very aggressive.
And in the end of the day, it's still Drow, right? Very fragile hero. Power treads on Agi. He has one infused rain robber. He's got a rate band. Like, it was still standing off at something like what, a third of his health. So very risky. Meanwhile, mid lane, Fearless. Looks like he wanted to scare Exilern for a little bit. Can he get him?
Oh, he's wanted to go for the illusion rune. Might just cost him his life though. He's trying to hold it to try and like dodge a split, but doesn't even need it. Just runs him down with the Pulse Nova. Okay, it's definitely going to be Fearless taking the lead here in this mid, or just slightly ahead in CS, but now with a kill to his name, might be able to try and like push this advantage and bully out the Tiny even more.
Overall, if you are Reapers, this is the best start for you. The only problem is, of course, Miracle is having basically free farm, but it seems like you're okay with that. Mazros, he's not far from his own, from his Hand of Midas, and so they can do that. Mid lane, Fearless, he's in trouble.
Yeah, trying to go for him. Good lockdown, just able to get through, but the toss will just allow the creep to bombard him in. Tower gonna, at the very least, finish off V, but yeah, Myth Avenue, they're happy with that. Take down the mid, only losing the support. And yeah, especially what they needed to help recover the Tiny after already dropping that one life.
Not too bad for Reapers again, because that's a big rotation. Bottom lane, alright. Looks like they might be able to get a kill on Zeal here. Need a bit
lot
more
of
smoke.
damage.
They
So the right clicks
Really
already in
got
from
it.
Toy, and yeah, down he goes. Mikasa getting the final touch. So they're thinking about going over towards Kishka as well, but you know, Toy, he sees the courier, just going to take that instead. Meanwhile, there is actually this two-man smoke as well. Mirana and Exilern coming on down to see if they can get a potential pick-off onto the Drow Ranger. And further
They
still
want
at the game
Mikasa.
instead. Yeah, okay. Well, again, I guess they're sort of fine. He tanks that up to make sure his carry doesn't fall prey to that maneuver. It's alright. Meanwhile, up top, Miracle, he's walked himself into these trees in a very awkward position. Telekinesis throws him back, and Fearless is ready and waiting. Naga's first death on the board.
Much needed. Much needed. They, that's kind of the scariest thing for you, is if Miracle has a free game. And Mazaros, he does get his end of Midas in about 8 minutes. So the fact that it's this fast makes it really worth it. You know, if it's like you get it by 12 minutes, you're like, oh god, well you get it by 8. It's kind of paying for itself very early, and you're kind of okay with it. I'd imagine he's going to go for the Guardian Reaves. This has been the standard sort of off-lane build for the Doom. Playing a bit more like a Brood Mother, just get a hand of Mice first. And I like it. Exilern, he's trying to find someone. I think they know he's coming. They see him. It's going to be very hard for him to catch the Rubik.
Can't quite get anybody there. Meanwhile, though, bottom, Song of the Siren is going to get the catch there onto Toy. Do they have much of a follow-up, though? Guilty Crown is there, but immediately they just have to disengage. Hong Hong charging afterwards. Did actually manage to steal the net away. So it's another way of like locking people down if they do get the grab connection. Instead, he's running straight in the Omni Knight. They're not too interested in trying to hit onto the actual Omni himself. Wanted to focus more on towards the root, but the arrow, it actually gets the land on towards Toy in the back lines, but still there wasn't a huge amount of follow-up taking the time. Good Gus making space, but regardless, the Broodling's going to keep charging on him. Shadow Realm here doing some work as well, but for now, the Drow Ranger is still damn well alive. At the very least, he drops eventually. Maybe we can get the +1 here onto Mikasa. It's got one more purge to use and a heal, but there's far more too many slows to come on in, and he can't get away. So nice couple of kills there for Myth Avenue, shutting down the Drow a bit, but that did leave the top open. Tower fell, and Fearless doing some work onto the mid.
Mazas was farming up a Storm, but you still lose your Drow Ranger, which is not too bad though. At least he's still third most farmed hero in the game. This ward though that they have for Myth Avenue has been doing so much work. Doom comes out. They are going to get a kill on Zeal, unless it gets denied. Very close.
Yeah, he tried his best. Not quite going to work out. Hey, at the very least, Myth Avenue making that death work to their advantage and taking down the mid-tier 1. So, you know, a bit more space to work with on the map.
It's not too bad. I mean, Zeal is still suffering. The thing is, though, if Brewmaster doesn't get gold, it's not the biggest issue, because the hero can do a lot with just his ultimate. Oh!
It's true. Nice touch there from Hong Hong. The toss actually lands onto the illusion. Still, they will get the kill onto the Rubik. Can they find much more? Terrorize lands onto 2, but it looks like Excellent. He wants to get aggressive right now. The Bedlam doing got a lot of connections on towards Macerus, but he's still down well alive. The toss, throw in the Drow on top of her, but still can't find it. The Miranda desperately does jump in there to get the finishing touch. Now Toy in some danger. Another 2-man avalanche. A couple of right clicks from the Tidy brings them down. Now Fearless in some real danger. He's got no mana left to work with. The Brambles locked him in place. He needs to have some fancy footwork here to get himself away, but I think the aim is just to waste as much time as possible. He knows he's dead.
Okay. Feels like another nice victory for Myth Avenue Gaming, bring down pretty much all the cores from Reapers, and just losing the Mirana in that situation. And what? Oh man, Doom is going for the BKB after the hand of Maya, so doesn't seem like they're interested in pushing at all for Reapers. Kind of scared about that. You really want to go late game against a Miracle's Naga Siren? To that, Reapers say, yeah, we don't mind.
Yeah, I guess they're banking on the fact that they've got the AoE damage from the left to try and deal with all of Miracle's illusions later on, but even still, man, it's a tall order. It's going to be a difficult one to play versus, but hey, if that's the angle they want to play, they must be feeling confident about it, so we'll see if they're going to be able to execute it or not. And already, though, 2,000 gold advantage here into the favourite Myth Avenue. We do see a little 2-man smoke wrap coming out from Reapers, but Myth Avenue also moving some members into the area themselves. Look like they want to try to get the catch here onto Maceros, but is he actually going to be in the right position for it? Able to get to the tier 1. TP's coming in. This could be a good pincer maneuver here from Reapers. See if they get the caps. They got the connection though. Immediately on towards the Omni Knight. Not going to be able to use a single spell at all. There is control on towards the Tiny though. A lot of AoE damage, but the Cyclone from the Panda, you know, makes the space, allows the Tiny to survive. Even Kishka stuck between the towers. probably going to end up dropping here, but with the high ground ward and the Moonlight Shadow, he should be able to get himself away. Oh.
As long as Zeal gets his ultimate up. Oh, well, they are able to get a kill on Keyshawn. They're going to go for more.
Yeah, B taking a heck of a beating there from those right clicks. Arrow to secure a creep. Yeah, big value. I like it, I like it. And he does get out.
What's presence of mind, right? He's like, listen, I gotta maximize my farm as I'm running away. He does actually do that. Yeah, but as long as Brewmaster is alive or there's a Storm Panda on the map, is the more accurate description, Mikasa cannot play Dota. Like as long, that's just how it goes. I mean, if there's a Storm Panda, he can't do anything. He's not doing anything.
Fearless. He's gonna be fine though. So the Guild Crown getting purged away from the Omni. And still this tier 1 tower is standing, you know, which I think Myth Avenue are going to be happy about. 13 minutes in versus a Lesh, and you're a tier 1 still up and not doing too bad. It's not in a good position. Meanwhile, though, the Tiny does get caught. Nice Avalanche to make the space, and they will allow him to disengage. That was very close, though.
And for Myth Avenue, you're farming. You are up against a Doom. All that gold is inflated. So
yeah.
If I get your 3,000 gold ahead is way more. In the graph, they agree. Say how many times every time I open the graph, it seems like it's 67% for one team and 33 for the other. I mean, it's never like 63 and something. It's like 67, exactly 67. It's like the game's like 3 out of 10 this time. This team's gonna win, and 1 out of 3 this time. I don't know. I don't get how it's gonna. 2/3 of the time, sorry, this one team would win. Well, Mikasa is gonna go for Arcane Boots. That'll be helpful if he can get it, but I don't feel like it's a mana issue he's having. He's having a spells getting removed issue.
Yeah. I mean, is there a way to itemize to stop that from happening though?
Nope. That's the problem, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's just,
maybe if you shield people and they have BKB on them, right? Like that's kind of good. If you can put the Heavenly Grace on Doom. Oh, wait, lane.
Oh, Toy. He's in some real danger right now. And it's going to be his 4th death. And we saw him die a lot in game number 1. Not quite as bad this time around. At least he's got some kills to his name, but definitely starting to build up those deaths.
Toy is quite aggressive in this position, even on ranged heroes, and he does get punished quite often. Mid tower, top tower, they are going to be leaving it here. And that's a nice stack that they're taking as well from an every game. So the map just really starting to feel like it's getting smaller for Reaper. They didn't take the mid tier 1 which you mentioned, and now they're going to be losing their last tier 1 themselves.
Yeah, not at all the aim of the game there from them. And, well, Myth Avenue, though, this is probably going exactly according to plan. Because we've got to remember, they've got to take this win just to make sure that they have the chance of going through the group. So they're staying very clinical about how they're playing. They're not risking too much, they're not completely spreading out everywhere across the map trying to get as greedy farm as possible. They're playing as a unit, playing as a team. And, and they spread out a bit.
You say that, and then Exilon has a hand of Midas on Tiny. You're like, they're playing safe, they're clinical, and then it's like, I don't know about that. Fearless, he might be losing his life.
And some real dangerous situations. Can the Omni keep him alive? I don't think so. Not even using the ult, but yeah, finally it will come out. Fearless running away, terrorized, not actually getting dropped. Instead, there is the Tiny, gets the quick burst, finishes off the Lash before he can get too far. Well, both supports have been caught here by the Song and the Siren, going to set up to get the grab here onto Hong Hong. And Mikasa, he sort of just runs straight back into the middle of everybody. Like, guys, you forgot about me? Don't forget to kill the old Omni Knight. And Mesaros, unfortunately, just too damn slow to retreat. Seal made sure he got his number, and it's the 4th casualty there. 4 Reapers, 4 people gone. Not a single thing picked up in return.
Like how Mesaros died at the end, right? Like the fight happened for 20 seconds, and he's like, wards! You guys didn't tell me they were still there. No wards in the area. A bit unfortunate. And he dies with Devour off cooldown, which is another awkward feeling. He will have the BKB available. Toy! Oh lord, he has the TP scroll.
Did they find him?
What?
Terrorized Lance gonna push him out. Oh, very nice read there from the Dark Willow. That's it. Easy pick off. Kind of surprised he didn't start using his TP sooner. I think if he instantly pressed it after he forced stuff, probably would have made it out.
I thought the same thing, right? Because I was looking, I was like, he has the off cooldown. He's got 2 of them. But seems like he decided it's better to save. He's like Grandmaster Drow, not us, right? What the hell do we know?
Yeah, it's true. Maybe there's a strategy about stacking TP scrolls. You know, now he's got 3. He's got, you know, maximum global maneuverability. You know, he can TP anywhere, doesn't have to worry about it.
Oh, mid lane.
In the mid, yeah,
Oh.
they've even dropped the Doom. He actually managed to get the Shadow Realm off at the very least, so trying to waste as much time as possible there for the Dark Widow, but the quick kill comes on in. It was just a bait, leader Masteros in. Finally, the tier 1 tower does drop. But regardless, Myth Avenue able to disengage, Doom now wasted, and they can go for some sort of retaliation play. Who can they catch in time, though?
Interesting Doom targets, right? You wouldn't think the Dark Willow is the one you want to Doom, but that's what they go for. And Dark Willow does have a Yule Scepter, by the way. Oh, here we go. Zeal. Ulti.
Rune, quick avalanche toss on towards Fearless with the Bloodstone. Those going to feel quite healthy though. Arrow lands onto Masteros, pops the BKB, trying to get away as best as he can. Meanwhile, Miracle's in the backlines, fighting down onto the supports. Got to be careful he doesn't get separated too much right now. And he's trying to disengage. The fight's spreading out quite far though. Fearless has been kind of abandoned by the rest of the team. Mikasa hanging around just long enough to get the purge on there. Regardless, he needs some extra help. Toy though, they're like, hang about, this is a Drow Ranger. She's in the middle of nowhere. Gets the free kill. Arrow perfectly
nice
land
out.
there from the Cyclone, even tossing in the Omni Knight for good measure. And another 3 kills there for Myth Avenue.
The BKB came out very late on Mazeros when he was already like 15% health. He didn't want tank after that, so that's awkward. He's to go. Oh dear, Mazeros is walking right past this ward. Will they spot him? Yes, they do. Doesn't have a blink there. Yep, that's in snare, and decides not to actually go for the kill. Right. Miracle's a generous soul, I must say.
Yeah, maybe he wants to get the Radiance up first. Oh, okay, he's going to drop the Song of the Siren to deny the retreat. TP coming in from from Toy, actually. Of all the people, that's the first person to respond to help out his offlaner. And now he's in some real danger. The rest of Reaper are now turning up. Rubik going to be taking a bit damage. Oh, he stole Song of the Siren, though. Can they actually use this to set up? Terrorize gets cancelled. Now we'll land, forcing the Drow Ranger back. Mikasa just charging forwards there with the Rubik, trying to pursue Miracle. That's a very difficult kill to find. Instead, they will find Kishka.
Oh, I mean, Heavenly Grace is not enough to keep alive. They do get the kill on Kishka, but they already lost Mazeros, and they also lost Hong Kong, so you can't be too happy of that if you are Reapers. I mean, I did not like this Doom build. I told you I would not like it if he went for the Hand-of-Mice Blink BKB. I think he needs to go for auras to help his team around, and they're not. Yes, it's not a push strat, but you still need the auras for your team, and they are suffering because of this. And Mirana, he actually queued up the Aghanim Scepter. I think VVV was joking, but the Yules from the Dark Willow is another way to dispel the Heavenly Grace. So it sucks, right? You play Omni, you want to have Heavenly Grace be useful, and just gets countered by more and more abilities as the game goes on.
Yeah, it does feel pretty damn rough, but well, I suppose it's something you got to consider when you do pick up the hero. Sometimes you can use that to your advantage, you know, like you force the enemy to itemize to deal with the support, and you know, it's potential gold not going to counter cause. But yeah, it seems like they don't really need many items to counter the cause this game. It's all about just screwing over the Omni Knight, because he's really the only way that people stay alive on the side of Reapers. And Myth Avenue going for this 4-man smoke. Let's see who they find. It's going to be a Doom. Hong Hong also off to the side. Going to use telekinesis. Actually does allow the Doom to get the BKB off. And I bet to disengage. Oh, what a fantastic Bramble usage. Connect onto both the 2 supports. Hong Hong's into real danger if the split comes out. Mikasa's going to drop as well. And yeah, going to be pushed down onto the tier 2. But eventually the Rubik dies.
Again, it's just I've seen him try to shield his Rubik multiple times. It just never works. You probably want to shield Mazeros when he's BKB'd, right? Because then he can't be Cyclones or you, and be like, okay, that's sort of your best way of using it. Otherwise, it just feels very, very, very different. So it's very, very difficult to keep people alive. Anyone else other than the Doom, he's not going to get any benefit from the Heavenly Grace.
Yeah. It's like a catch-22, isn't it? Like, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. It's like, it's very difficult. Too many people that the Omni Knight needs to try and save, but just can't even save anybody at all.
Oh, okay, alright. I feel as he walks to the scan last second, it does not turn red, he still stays alive in the bottom lane. Okay, I was really worried, but Speaking of damned if you do, I feel like you're not as damned if it's the guy's got a BKB, so that'll help. What about Toy? He's on the way to the BKB, but it's gonna take some time for him to get there.
Down at the bot, the Terrorized lands onto Fearless in the trees, dragging the Leshrac out of the cover, and should this be easy setup? The arrow lands. There is the life steal coming on from the creeps, but it doesn't matter. I think that was an aggressive glyph to actually stop the HP life steal. That's quite a nice little play.
I was gonna say the same thing. Meanwhile, Toy, he's not gonna have a very nice little play. He is being chased by Zeals. He doesn't have his ultimate, and it's might turn around actually.
Yeah, gonna drop the Doom there on towards the Brewmaster, and yeah, gonna be able to bring him down. Did also manage to steal the arrow there for Hong Hong, so potential to get a good bout of lockdown later on.
Much needed kill. Much needed kill. It's just that, you know, you're so far behind that you need to die a lot of times. And he's not exactly a very farmed core, you know. It's not. It's like you're getting Miracle, who went for the Radiance build. I think you mentioned that yourself. This is not 2016. This is in fact 2023. But yeah, it just goes for the Radiance build. I remember this. You used to have a Naga Siren in every lane, illusion pushing, and that's just how you won. It was the most boring way to play Dota, and it was very effective.
Yeah, that's definitely how the split push works, and it was really nice. He's going to start in there in the mid. Yeah, like, I feel like most of the time that you see Radiance is picked up now is to try and counter some sort of illusion-based hero, you know, like a PL or something like that. That's like the main reason, but yeah, Naga just doing classic Dota 2 builds. Maybe that's what he's feeling, just wants to try and ramp up his farm, I guess. But I mean, he is quite comfortably at the top. 6,000 gold ahead of Toy, who has just been having a rough time. 4-6-2 there on the Drow, but 3-1-8 for the Naga. Got the Heart of Tarask now just completed, and moving into the Roshan. So with the Aegis on top of everything else, this Naga Siren's really going to feel unkillable. But here comes Reapers. They sort of know this is going on. They're smoked up right now. And can they actually get a good initiation? But, oh, the Tiny's just now completed an Axe. That's going to be a pretty big impact. Vex learn to land a couple of barrages from the trees. Mesros jumping on towards the Tiny, trying to lock him out. Just chasing away from this pit right now. The Cyclone on towards the Leshrac, taking him out for the majority of the fight. But Kishka's in deep. Out comes Heavenly Grace from Miska. There's not really that much physical damage it's countering. Meanwhile, Song of the Siren does actually land onto all four. Terrorize, will it be perfectly timed? Just gets the connect on towards the Leshrac. Jump forwards there with the Avalanche, locking him in place, as well as the tree volleys raining in, but it's not really that much damage at this stage. Still feeling quite comfortable. Zeal now having to run away. He's still got no split, but can't quite get away there from Fearless. Meanwhile, Exilan denies the escape from Toy. Carry and offlaner dead, and now is just Fearless left all alone. And that is all three cores from Reapers gone.
It looked kind of decent, honestly, because they were able to get rid of the Storm Panda relatively early. So, you know, Omniad was actually able to play the game for a little bit. Oh, well, that could be an idea. No, Hong Kong, not enough damage. And he might be losing his life right after. Yeah, basically life.
Yeah, it was, not quite sure what the big brain play was there, poking it onto Zeal, but who knows? You know, he's trying to be flashy.
It was a solid attempt because they were took out the Storm Panda, but not enough, right? You take out the Storm Panda, Omniad can play the game, but guess what? You're still, what, 14, 15k behind that fight? So, very rough situation. Win probability 97 for Myth Avenue Gaming. I think that's fair. You know, that seems right.
Yeah. 3%. Yeah, just about. Maybe I'd push it to 4% perhaps, but those margins are very tight.
I mean, I think you can double it and it still wouldn't be that impressive, you know? 6!
Yeah. Oh, dearie me. Well, can you see any way of Reapers being able to turn this around? Like, is there some divine, amazing play that they can make which can actually try and help them out?
One thing that they have that's very interesting is that Doom does have the Hurricane Wildwing Ripper. If you can Hurricane someone to your side, you can like push them in, like you force staff them in. That could be an option. You don't have other force staffs, unfortunately, but that could be an option. You push someone into your side of the map, up the high ground. You doom them, you kill them. You win a fight that way. It's not easy, to be fair, but then again, when you're this far behind, oh god, Toy.
Yeah, he didn't stand a chance there. Just got annihilated. The long range stuns with the tree volley. Easy peasy kills, and Fearless now. He's going to get caught, forced to pop the Bloodstone relatively early, so not going to have that. Meanwhile, Maxwell's
They're gonna
jumping in
Doom.
quite deep. They got the Doom on towards the Brewmaster before the ultimate, so it's a pretty nice target to get. Meanwhile, Miracle holding 3 people in here with the Song of the Siren Arrow. Perfect setup there on towards the Doom. He is down, no buyback available. Even Fearless actually getting connected on for one more Bramble, and they're just in full retreat right now. The trees just bombarding in, takes down Hong Hong. And still, they just can't find any single kills. Just one by one by one. Everyone on Reaper's just dropping like flies. It's just nothing they can do.
I'm not sure if it was Zeal. I think someone else dropped an item, actually, during that fight on the ground in front of the sleeping Reapers. And they're like, oh, you want it? You can't get it. Rubik actually buys back.
Okay, let's see what this is going to be able to do. Fearless charging forward right now. Bloodstone activates. He's going to heal back up, but he gets hit by a point-blank arrow. But still, this HP regen is doing work. He's not actually dropping down. Miracle has been being forced to disengage right now, but he's got the heart. So he's going to heal up momentarily. Oh, Zeal! He actually gets silenced before the ultimate completes. So the Brewmaster is down. Signs of life here. Excellent. Turn around with the tree volley. Does a ton of damage to Hong Hong, but doesn't quite find the kill. But regardless, okay, they force them back. They get the kill into the Brewmaster, but it does cost a couple of buybacks.
Yeah, I mean, they hold, right? In the end, that's kind of what they needed to do, but holy moly is an expensive hold. Like, we are in the 1% chance to take it. 24,000 gold advantage from Myth Avenue. The buybacks do come out on the support, so it's at least not the cores. One thing that they do have is that Fearless has the Aghanim Shard on Lelesh rank. This could make a big difference in these fights. I think this is one of the, it's one of the fantastic one for setting up a battlefield, and I don't think there's a lot of BKBs on the enemy side. I don't think there's even a single BKB. So these split earths in extended fights will make a difference. They could be enough to bring Reapers into the game.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, it would be a good way of controlling up the illusions from the Naga Siren, because they definitely wouldn't have any way of avoiding them. So, yeah, like you say, maybe that could be something that they play around, but it's just going to be the Lesh having to non-stop spam split earths no matter where he goes, just to try and, set up that possibility. But, so another 4 minutes for the next Roche. Do Myth Avenue even wait? I mean, they still got their current Aegis for another minute. I forgot they even had it, to be honest with you. And it looks like they got the grab. Arrow perfect connects onto Hong Hong, locking down the Rubik, jumping in Fearless, trying to make the space, but it's not going to be enough. At least this time the Brewmaster's out, able to get the ultimate off. Locking him in place, poking on towards Mesaurus as well, forcing out the BKB. There's so many Yules and everything. Like, the Drought Rangers has been cycloned up towards the north for ages right now. Can't get anything done whatsoever. Fearless getting tossed back into the waiting arms of the entirety of Myth Avenue, but still not actually falling down. Meanwhile, Exilern jumping in with the help of the Dark Willow. Do manage to bring down the Doom, and now the Brewmaster in some danger. Does get 4-star back though. Fearless just can't really get on top of anybody. Vikas is going to die, and Toy, he's just been non-stop cyclone. Finally it does end. Might be able to bring down the Tiny, but he has the Aegis. That's the only kill they find. He's going to come back on in. Fearless trying to do what he can with the Bloodstone activated. Is healing up a fair amount, but is forced to disengage. Can't get far though with the Guilty Crown. Denies the retreat. He will fall. It's just Toy left. And a Song of the Siren for good measure. And, okay, gets the 4-star out. Not setting up completely well, but still he dies. There's another Cyclone onto Fearless, who gets hit by another arrow. Die back from him. And, okay, that should be GG.
No, I mean, Reapers, they're clearly gonna make Myth Avenue, work for it. They did that in game 1, I think. They also didn't call GG until, like, they let the throne fall before they called GG. So, Reapers, I mean, this is their God-given right to play the game as long as they want, but it's shocking that they want to play more of this. It's been a very, very difficult series for them. Mazaros, I think he wanted to jump and get Doom up, but he held it down for a long time, and he wasn't able to get anything. And look at that, Naga Siren, stolen mirror images. Pretty much the worst ability you can get.
Yeah, I mean, he did dodge a little stun that was thrown at him, but that is about it. And watch, you can't dodge those brambles. He just drops. He is down. 3 versus 5 now. And it doesn't seem like Myth Avenue interested in going for Megas. Just want to end the game here and now. Taking down first tier 4. Second one not going to last too long at all. And okay, the Drought's not
volley almost. Yeah. It's like, well, I don't have to play. I just don't have to call it. 1-3 volley almost killed Mazaros. Like, just plain out, just almost killed him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Reapers are gonna make it and take all their time to just get this win.
Literally, like, they're not even finished off the ancient. Like, they know this is just completely over right now. I'm not quite sure why no one was calling GG. Maybe they thought it was like a matchmaking game, right? Like, you can't concede, and then like the Drow just goes AFK waiting for it to end. I don't know, man. But even still, Myth Avenue Gaming, they got the 2-0 victory that they desperately needed, and that will at least force one tiebreaker situation. Well, it depends how the sort of the draw is settled, but yeah, they got the potential. They could still now go through.
It's kind of crazy, right? Like they're like, no one's calling it. No one's calling it, even though they were like, dude, we've lost all. Like, no, we're gonna play this till the end. And Myth Avenue just takes another very convincing game. Like both games looked really one-sided in their favor. And I think that there's such a big difference in terms of like I'm looking at the MMR between the two teams. It's really not that different. It's just that Reapers, the teamwork and the drafting seems very against each other, if that makes sense. Like they had this draft that we were saying, okay, it's a fast push, but they have a Rubik and a Doom, so we're saying, okay, maybe it's a standard game, but also didn't kind of play like a standard game either. And
yeah, I mean, in all honesty, looking at Reapers, it really did just feel like a pub game. Like, it didn't really feel like they were a team. It just felt like 5 solo players all just sort of trying to do their own thing and work together-ish. But yeah, there wasn't really any clear synergy. Wasn't any big team like cohesion going on. And really, that's just been their whole entire tournament experience. That was so out of 12 games, not a single win to be found. Pretty depressing scoreline, I'm not gonna lie.
Not only is it 0-12, but it also had like 2 roster changes. I mean, they brought in Fearless as instead of Made, and today they brought in 2 other players, which is Mazros as well as sorry, who the player who's playing the Omniarch right now? I forgot his name for a second. But yeah,
Mikasa?
it's Mikasa. Yes, thank you. So it's like they've made changes. It hasn't worked out. They've lost. The draft was all over the place. It's just tough. I mean, I mean, props to Myth Avenue. I think that that Brewmaster pick shattered the draft it just shattered them straight away because it gave them the front line they needed, gave them the anti-Omni Knight, made it very difficult for you to play Doom because you have to always just Doom that one guy, and you have like Brewmaster and Naga. It's just too much. So a perfect pick by Myth Avenue. Perfect plays, honestly. There's a lot of kudos goes to them.
Yeah, 100%. Like, they were definitely the team that deserved the victory, and they definitely managed to achieve that. So again, well done to them. And I think it was nice as well that they could finish off on his favorite Naga Siren as well. Like, I think he probably wanted to play that quite a few times, but finally does get there in there, and that was their decider game as well. So yeah, it was a very it's a good win. It was a nice pickup. But yeah, I like what you're saying with the Brewmaster. It just made perfect sense. Just completely stopped the Omni Knight, and he couldn't do anything. We saw he had a good time in the lane. He was able to bully people out left, right, and center. Was making space for Toy, but didn't do anything. it didn't mean anything.
I mean, Toy in a lot of these situations ends up sort of being. I mean, he's we've seen him sniper be very out of position. A lot of times, like when there's a high ground push, he stands in front of the tier 3 tower on the low ground, gets caught. We've seen it a bunch of time happen. So it just feels like, there's something up with the team that they need to just, sit and talk and just have it out, and hopefully they come back strong. They still have a couple of games, I think, tomorrow. At least one game coming out tomorrow. I think it's up against Spawn, not quite sure. Or UDVS one of them.
Yeah, that's the first series. Not even tomorrow, actually. There's a 1-day break. And then it will be on. But yeah, that will be their next show. So, okay, there is at least the chance for them to get one win before the end of this tournament. Like, fingers crossed they could do it, man, because, I mean, we've all had a day, right, where you go into a game after game and you just lose and you lose and you lose. And eventually you just sort of have to say, right, you got to step back.
Never happens to me.
Yeah. Does it not?
Never.
Are you sure about that? I don't know, mate. Something smells fishy there. Smells very fucking fishy.
That's always the worst, right? You lose a game and you're like, it's okay, I'll make up. And then you lose 2 games. You're like, well, if I win the next one, I only, I cut my losses in half. Then you lose a third one. You're like, well, I can't make it. It's not gonna go 100 MMR. This goes 120. You're like, oh, I
Yeah.
just lost 4 games in a row. It's the
Yeah,
worst.
it is an absolutely horrible feeling. Then you just feel like you feel horrible for the rest of the day. Even once you close
Yes.
Dota, you're just there like, oh man, it's rough. So yeah, very unlucky there for Reaper. But hey, that is the way Dota goes. You know, some people have to lose, and unfortunately for them, it is them. But yeah, even still, well played to Myth Avenue Gaming, as we've said before. But that was the final series of the day, guys. We are all out of Dotes for you guys, none left. But as we were just saying, there will be one more day of groups on the 9th, so 1 day break. And maybe we might be able to see some changes. I think the only thing that can happen is if UD Vesuwan, they have to win all 4 of their 4 games.
Yes.
And that might force another tiebreaker.
Exactly.
Yeah. Spawn team. Yeah, and so if Spawn team lose all 4, UD Vesuwan win all 4, then there will be 4 teams that are 7 for 7.
Right.
So, you know, it might not happen, but there is that possibility, guys. So, yeah. Any sort of end comments for you, Otomo?
Well, I just want to make sure we thank everyone, all the people for tuning in. It's amazing that we can do this for you guys. You guys make this stream happen. I want to thank all the teams for playing their hearts out today. Whether win or lose, it's always awesome. And thanks to BluScale for handling production. He's not only just commenting, he's handling production as well, which is awesome. So yeah, just want to make a lot of gratitude to go around to the BTS crew for making this happen.
Yeah, 100%. It does feel nice to be here, and I have to give props to you as well, man. If it wasn't for your actual Dota knowledge, I'd just be a complete pleb sat here just driveling on about the fact that tangos are green, and that's information that nobody actually needs. So yeah, we do a good job. We work well. And but yeah, that is it, guys. That is us signing off. So we will see you all again in a couple of days' time for the final day of the group stage. We will see you all then. Thanks for tuning in.